Hello everyone, this is Marianne here from Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. How are you today? Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. We've got a swag of things to read on, from the Middle East, of course, through to the wonderful result for E. Jean Carroll in New York in her defamation case, through to whether or not that will be upheld on appeal, damages for those that don't know, and I'm sure many of you already know, that damages of 83 million were awarded to E. Jean Carroll for given that the ex-president was found liable for defamation of E. Jean Carroll. Earlier on last year, he was found liable of sexual assault of E. Jean Carroll. That is also on appeal as well. Okay, so we'll go to whether that appeal on the damages will be successful. We'll also go to the Manhattan DA's case in regards to the ex-president for on charges. He's been indicted for what people refer to, lawyers or legal experts are referring to as either the Stormy Daniels hush money case or election interference, because that's what it was, and of course fraudulently trying to put that money paid out through his books, so business fraud. His company has already been convicted for business fraud, both at the DA level. Remember, Alan Weiselberg, his CFO, went to prison for that, and also in a civil suit that the New York Attorney General has brought against him. He's already been found liable of business fraud and tax fraud. Wonderful candidate this ex-president would make. 91 counts, indictments against him. And a good swathe of Republicans say that they couldn't really vote for someone who has been convicted of a felony. So hence the ex-president is trying to delay all these cases. We'll move to South Carolina to look at whether the contender that is staying in the race, Nikki Haley, and so she should, because she came quite close. Although he obviously won Iowa and New Hampshire, the margins certainly in New Hampshire had dwindled. So we'll take a look at how Nikki Haley will do in South Carolina. And why is she staying in the race? I've got my intuition on that. I feel that she's there because anything and everything could happen to the ex-president as he faces multiple indictments. I mean, can you imagine if he's convicted, what happens then? He's also been displaying significant cognitive decline, and many of you who have watched my videos for a long time will know I read on that about 6 months ago. And yes, while I did pick up heart troubles, it was his cognitive decline that I saw as the most pressing of his health problems. So, maybe she's staying in the race because anything could happen. Okay, but first to the Middle East. I do want to flag a date with you. I'll do some astrology reading. I'll just look at the astrology now. But I also want to flag the 14th of February. Why am I flagging that date? I'm flagging that date because Mars conjuncts Pluto. And that is extremely volatile astrology aspect there, planetary placement there. The conjunction of a very, or Mars is the warrior god, and Pluto, power. When they come together, there's a blending of the energies. So February the 14th, I just want to mark that date. I hope it's not in relation to the Middle East. On the Middle East, of course, I have continually found that Iran, in the reading that I did, Iran got the devil card. It's not a good card. The outcome was, would there be Iran and US, would they go to war? The devil card was the outcome. And I said these things will simmer for some time. These attacks will continue to occur for some time, though the US is not going to engage at this point, at the time that I read, in a full-blown war with Iran. I also want to flag that my readings on Putin being very much in the background here, perhaps an active advisor, shall we just say, in the Middle Eastern hostilities. I just want to flag that. And of course, the current president of the US, Joe Biden, is pushing very hard to get funding to Ukraine. All right, let's take a bit of a look at the astrology. Depending on where you are in the world, the moon is moving from, let's see, Leo into Virgo. Leo into Virgo. And so we have the sun squaring Jupiter. Sun squaring Jupiter. That can be shining a light on matters, and Jupiter wants to push those matters forward. But the square means that there's some resistance to that. And if we look across the global landscape, you actually do see that happening. Also, I predicted, the avalanche in California. I just saw that on the map that occurred. Why California? For me, it seems to be a hot state, not a cold state. But that's where I saw the avalanche happening in my global predictions. That actually occurred. Another thing that I did predict was mass protests in Europe. And we saw those occur in Germany. And so those mass protests were in response to the far right. So the moderates and the left, I guess Germans, we shouldn't categorise politically. I said I wasn't going to do that. The majority of Germans came out en masse and protested against extremism. Okay, so that's just where I want to park that. We see this wherever we go. There's a light, the light of truth, the light of progress. We want to move forward, but we've got these conditions. It's obstacles and challenges. And so that's Sun squaring Jupiter. There's expansion and progress for us. The Sun shining that light on where we need to progress. But we've got to work it out first and come to some sort of consensus. We've got to come to the truth of the matter. Mercury is conjunct Mars. So again, watch your words. There can be volatility here. Mercury, the planet of communication, is conjunct Mars, the planet of action. Mercury is trining Uranus, so we should be able to handle anything that comes at us that's unexpected. Uranus often brings that, and there's good harmonious energy to explain why some of these things are occurring. We have Venus trining Jupiter. That's a wonderful placement, particularly for Sagittarians, any viewers that are Sagittarius moon, rising or sun. Venus is the planet of love, and some in Vedic astrology destiny, trining Jupiter, the planet of expansion, of course, which is the ruler of Sagittarius. Just to add to the good news there, Venus is sextiling Saturn. So in matters of love, relationships, all sorts of relationships, unity, all the things we associate with love, we've got an harmonious flow. Mars is also trining Uranus. These are all good aspects. However, Mars is squaring Chiron. So anyone who's putting off action in changing what they need to change within themselves, you're just being given a push to do that. And finally, Jupiter sextiling Saturn. Good time to do the work. So, all right, let's get started with our reading today. And just want to flag that date, February the 14th, when Mars conjuncts Pluto. I will do a reading on that. We'll maybe look at the Middle East chart, perhaps the US chart as well, closer to the date. Okay, so let's have a look. Where do we want to start? Let's have a look at the Iran militants attacked the US, and a number of soldiers were killed and wounded. I think 3 or 4 soldiers killed and others wounded on a base near the Syrian, in Jordan, near the Syrian-Iraq border. So, of course, the US has vowed that there will be retaliation. I still don't think they want a full-blown war with Iran. They're trying to avoid that wider escalation. Let's see what action. I'm more feeling they're going to do targeted attacks against these militants. Show me how will the President of the US respond to the attacks on US troops. Of course, I can't help thinking that a lot of this is provocative to actually widen a war there. We get manifestation, the magician. What is he manifesting? Victory. Okay, so what action will Biden take was the question. Yeah, he's going to strike back at militants, the death card. He wants to end these attacks, basically, and he'll do whatever he needs to do that. The Page of Swords, yeah, I mean, in this deck, I'm using the Gilded Tarot Royale. It's almost like he is a spy within the camp. That's in the past. So I spoke about these energies behind the Middle Eastern conflict. It's no coincidence that this volatility is there, escalation is there, as in the lead up to the US election. There will be a show of strength, and we get the 10 of Cups here, protecting. I see it, he feels as this is retribution for the families of the slain US soldiers, but this is also a political decision as well. We get the High Priestess, something clandestine, and then we get the truth here, or secrets coming to the surface, and the truth is there. I mean, if I had to sum up 2024 energy, I'd do it with those 2 cards. We get the Hierophant in the hopes and fears. The Hierophant, of course, is the courts, justice, and we get the 3 of Wands. Also, the Houthis are coming to mind here. The Wheel of Fortune and the King of Wands, yes, stepping forward. So he will 7 of Swords. He wants justice for those that have been killed. The soldiers that have been killed. I think that is a very overriding concern with this man. He will continue to address these attacks with the goal of not broadening escalation. Okay, so in the meantime, in the Middle East, we had the International Court of Justice posting there's an interim finding that there's a plausibility that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, and so they have taken on South Africa's case. They will hear that. As I said at the time that I did that reading, that's another prediction that I got correct. And I also said, without knowing anything about the International Court of Justice's processes, I said we won't know the result of that for some time, but I think they do find favourably for South Africa, and they have. Now, in the meantime, Israel has levelled an accusation that United Nations aid organisation in Gaza, that 12 of its workers were involved in the October 7th attacks. As a result, many countries, including my own country, Australia, has stopped aid funding to that particular organisation. Now, here's the background on this. This is not the first time that Israel has levelled these allegations. They've been investigated by the UN and found not to be of substance. I also want to say that even if these workers who are Palestinians were involved in this Hamas attack, the UN has fired them. One has been killed in the bombings, and they no longer work at the agency, and has launched a full investigation denying funding to the UN agency, which is supposed to represent all of us. Will only hurt the Palestinians, whom the International Court of Justice has found that there is a plausibility of genocide. So stopping funding while the UN investigates, having fired these workers anyway, whether they're guilty or innocent, it seems to me counterproductive if they want to prevent more, starvation in Gaza of innocent civilians. All right, let's see if these workers were guilty. Okay, so let's have a look. Were the UN workers guilty? Were the UN workers guilty of attacking Israel on October the 7th? Were the UN workers guilty of attacking Israel on October the 7th? Possibly, not all, but possibly some. We get families here, and we get Three of Wands, waiting for one ship to come in. Life in Gaza. Five of Pentacles. I guess basically that's it. All killing, all war is tragic. All occupation is tragic. The circumstances of the Palestinians, wherever they be, refugees in Jordan, refugees in Syria, in Gaza, parts of the occupied West Bank, wherever they are a displaced people. We get inevitability, judgment in the past. We get the Nine of Pentacles. I think you'll find that perhaps some were, but not all. Three of Pentacles contributing. This is a lot of money here, an absence of money and potential money. Let's have a look. The Sun card, full illumination. We get victory here. We get the Emperor, control in the hopes and fears, and we get the Seven of Swords. That is lies and deceit. It's actually a no, but I want to see what else is there. We get the Lovers card. We get the Hangman, pausing something. And Justice. Wow, this is difficult reading. My clairvoyant images would show that at least one may have, but not all. I want a clarification. I'm now using the Surrealist Tarot on the Seven of Swords, lies and deceit, the Lovers, some kind of plan with somebody else, pausing something, the Pentacles falling out of the Hangman's pockets, and there's money here, and Justice, and the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I think... Were any of them involved? So we get the Three of Swords, heartbreak, the Page of Wands, a young person perhaps, and the Seven of Pentacles, planning. Plan A doesn't work, Plan B does, and we get to the Ten of Swords, complete and utter downfall. The Knight of Wands, movement forward, and the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Swords, sabotage. There's a terrible cards. So at this stage I'm going to say not all, but perhaps one or two may have been paid or received some sort of money here. But it's not as cut and dried as what it has been painted to be. There's going to be also a point where Netanyahu has been found to be lying. Oh, heaven forbid about that. but possible that some or one, some have, but not all. I think that's the outcome of it. In any case, suspending funding at a time where starvation looms in Gaza. I hope they find another agency to give the aid to, because I can understand the politics of it. We can't be funding terrorists, basically. However, it's not that simple, is it? Okay, so let's have a look at E. Jean Carroll's appeal on the wonderful 83 million damages. For anyone who's new to this channel, I am a never Trumpian, if I have to use that word. And so if you can't handle the truth, then I release you. But if you want to stick around for other readings, then you're more than welcome. Okay, just don't come for me, all right? Okay, appeal on E. Jean Carroll, 83 million. Is that going to be... All right. E. Jean Carroll appeal, E. Jean Carroll appeal, E. Jean Carroll appeal. Nailed to the cross. The martyrhood here. Oh, my God. Sorry, but how an ex-real estate reality star can start to pretend they're akin to Jesus is beyond me. I read Stephen King's book The Stand, and this is what it's reminding me of, a false prophet, a very corrupt false prophet. Anyway, cult leader. Let's have a look. Will the cult leaders appeal be successful on the 83 million? Will ex-president, cult leader, indicted, criminal, will he be successful appealing the 83 million damages? So we have here the Sun card. Well, and then we get pausing that. So we get full illumination, we get stepping forward, striding forward, and then bang, stopped in one's tracks. Okay, they're the signifier cards. We get the Nine of Cups, miracles, wish fulfillment. In the past, we get the Nine of Wands, weariness, boundaries, having to set boundaries. And the Lover's card is the in the sky. I mean, I probably shouldn't have been using the cult word, but that's his card. That's Gemini for the cult. The Emperor, the courts, control. We get the Strength here, Strength card, and the Knight of Wands. I mean, that's probably E. Jean Carroll. I think that her place in history, she's an 80-year-old lady, is going to be pretty renowned. We got the Seven of Pentacles. He's actually worried about this because, according to Washington Post, they don't think that he can pay this off with donors' funds. This has to come from him. So the Seven of Pentacles, so it can't come from a super PAC. It has to come from his own money. He's really fearing that. We get the Queen of Pentacles. That's Carroll and the Star. Hope and the Queen of Wands. Women. I don't know who's on the appeals court in New York. And then we get Crossroads here. And moving out of troubled waters. The Page of Wands. Basically what I think could happen is the damages might be reduced, but not... it's not by much. Like I think it's going to hold up. Let's have a look. Show me the Queen of Pentacles. She has everything she needs. Queen of Wands. This is heavy female energy. Show me, will Trump win his appeal? I should really... Knight of Pentacles, consistency. No, they're going to come in. And the Five of Wands, obstacles and challenges. And the Hanged Man again, pausing something. Knight of Pentacles is a consistent decision. What are they pausing here? You know what could happen? Show me the Hanged Man, the Six of Cups, the past, and the Ten of Cups, families, and the Devil. Okay. Temperance, moderation. They could kind of say, well, I don't know, do the $5 million liable for sexual assault case has to be go to appeal. I think I've read on that before. I said that it will be upheld. I think this will be upheld as well, though I feel that he may have a slight win on something, but it's not. They're going to be consistent with the lower court's decision. All right, let's have a look at the Manhattan DA's case against the ex-president. They're thinking that if the DC case has been paused while the appeals court brings down its rulings, which I feel will be it will uphold that the ex-president does not have immunity for criminal acts. They're being careful, as I said they would. And thorough, and the Supreme Court might just say we uphold the appeals court decisions. Okay, but that's delaying the DC January 6th case. Let's go to the Manhattan DA. The Manhattan DA. Also want to say that the hangman can be stopping something. It's like we're not going any further with this. And that came up twice in that previous reading. I'm just thinking back to those cards. So I think they will uphold and be consistent with the lower court. Although I do just intuitively get something that they might tweak. All right, let's go to Manhattan. Manhattan DA. Will he secure a conviction for election interference, or the Stormy Daniels hush money payment and the business fraud that followed it? Will the DA secure a conviction? Will Alvin Bragg in Manhattan secure a conviction? Two of Cups, contracts, commitments, Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of focus on the fraud aspect of this. They're going to double down on that. I mean, that's the payment. The payment for, can I just say, sexual relations? Sorry. The Tower. Oh my gosh. It's probably likely to be his first conviction. We have the Knight of Cups in the past. I mean, these are all fitting with the energy, let's just say that. The Empress card in the sky, abundance, the payment. Page of Swords, hiding the fact of the payment in the middle of an election race, lying about it. I mean, these aren't good cards. And then hiding it, burying it, trying to stop it from coming to light. Hopes and fears, we got the Fool card. Again, the ex-president's not going to like this. He's going to be successful, and he's just brought on a very skilled prosecutor, which is what that card is. And the Three of Wands is going to be a win for Vance, Vance, who was asked to bury the case, and Alvin Bragg took it up. Yeah, it's they're definitely, these are all yes cards, past. It's going to be a big win for Bragg, Alvin Bragg, a big win for him on the Stormy Daniels hush money payment / election interference case and the fraud that accompanied it, trying to hide that. It's actually more serious if you want transparency and accountability than what most people realise. Imagine, for example, if Biden or anyone had done this, paid off I'll be crass and say a porn star, and at the time so that his campaign wouldn't be affected, and then tried to hide that money and put it through his books, business books. Imagine, went to great lengths to hide that. It's actually quite a significant case, is what I want to say. All right, last one, we'll look at Nikki Haley. Let's see, how's she going to do in South Carolina? It's her home state. She's a former governor. Can Nikki Haley win in South Carolina? Can Nikki Haley win in South Carolina? So we have here the Queen of Pentacles. Good female energy here. And we get the Five of Pentacles, loss. It will be a question of who's going to keep funding her. There's an inevitability here. We have the Seven of Pentacles. I think already she's scaling back her campaign in a way. But we get the Strength card in the sky. We get the Sun card in the immediate future. Wow. Five of Swords. That's like sabotage. And then the Two of Wands, something coming to fruition in time. Yeah, it's as I thought. She's going to hang in there as long as she can, because anything and everything could happen in this race. The Ten of Wands, not so much, even if she doesn't win in South Carolina, I don't know yet, she'll keep going because you've got a candidate under heavy criminal indictment facing an uphill battle. The Hermit, no, I don't think she's going to win. No, choices, and the Ten of Pentacles, money, donors, Four of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the Tower. I don't think she can win in South Carolina, but I do feel she's going to keep, there is a donor there, or several of them that want her to keep going, to keep putting forward an alternative, because they know that the ex-president hasn't won anything since 2016-17. It's a long time ago. Okay, let's have a look. Will she stay in the race? Well, will she get close? One or two cards. Will she get close to the ex-president in South Carolina? Will she get close to him? In the result, I meant Page of Wands. The Temperance card, moderation. It's not a wholesale slaughter for Nikki Haley by any imagination. Nine of Swords, worry. It's going to worry Trump. Celebration and justice. She's going to get close to him, or it's going to be close enough to worry him again, just as New Hampshire was. Will she stay in the race? Will she stay in the race? Will Nikki Haley stay in the race? Ace of Cups, Three of Wands, waiting for her ship to come in. The Hierophant, government, institutions, and the High Priestess. Something she knows, and the Queen of Cups. She has some kind of leverage here, and I don't know what it is, but it's powerful. I think she will. I think she will stay. And I think she doesn't lose by much if she does lose in South Carolina. There are powerful forces wanting her to stay in. Let's just look at the ex-president's obvious. When I went up against Obama in 1617, Obama, Nikki Haley and the DC guards, stop the DC guards. You know, these are very, 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 very big mistakes. Show me, is the ex-president's cognitive decline accelerating? Show me the ex-president's health, please, and his cognitive decline. Page of Pentacles, young people. This person is tied up. There's one pentacle there. And the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Trying to, the old saying is that make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, comes to mind with these cards. Trying to make much of something. And that wish fulfillment is not, it's the reality is much different to what he's wishing for. The Ace of Cups, emotions spilling out. Look at the cup there. It's just like can be storms there. His emotions are overwhelming him. There's an inevitability about the judgment that's very karmic coming for him. The Queen of Swords, interestingly enough, in the sky is logic. Logic and also prosecution. And we get the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands. Home and family. I mean, that to me tends to represent Mar-a-Lago. The Five of Pentacles, yeah, he's very concerned about his finances. I don't care what anybody says. And we get the Empress card as my card for Russia. Page of Swords, in the hopes and fears. There's mind stuff going on here. Look at that. It's almost like he feels inadequate. We get Justice. Justice, another karmic card. It was an inevitable for him, what is occurring right now. And we get Justice in response to the situation. Justice. Look at all those people walking up those stairs and she's watching on. And the Seven of Cups is mental confusion. He can't keep track of all this. The Ten of Pentacles, his money. And the Seven of Pentacles. He's taking a hit, he's hemorrhaging money. But the Seven of Cups and Justice is total confusion. As these cases continue to ramp up, you're going to see him get worse. Two of Pentacles, overloaded. Look, that boat's not going anywhere. It's hitting the concrete. The Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Cups is self-nurture. The Knight of Wands, the Ten of Swords, and the Two of Swords. It's almost like his logic is not there. And I wonder, as time goes on this year, I mean, we're going to see his downfall. That's there one way or another. But I wonder if he's going to get worse, basically, as the cases continue. His confusion is going to accelerate. And we're going to see that play out. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Bye for now.